In today's review, I'll talk in more details about the flagship of the Garmin series, a watch Fenix 6X Pro Solar. I will answer the most popular questions on this brand of watches. How does solar charging work? How is the PowerGlass system arranged? Under what conditions can a watch be charged from the sun? What's the strength of the glass and is it comfortable to Sapphire glasses or other Fenix models? What other bonuses did Garmin add the Fenix 6 Pro Solar? What is the main difference between the other models of the Solar version? And as always, the pros and cons of the model with a final conclusion. I want to say special thanks to the company Navionica, my reliable Garmin partner, who provide me with a sample for test and training. So let's start with a review of Fenix 6X Pro Solar. The price of the watch, Fenix 6X Pro and Pro Solar. The price of the Fenix 6X Pro Solar watch with a silicone black strap is $1,000. The model is Pro Solar titanium carbon grey DLC with black band. The watch case is a fiber reinforced polymer with a metal back lid. More expensive version of the Pro Solar titanium with vented titanium bracelet with a titanium bracelet is being sold for $1,150. But in this model, a watch case is also a fiber reinforced polymer with a metal back cover. The difference is in performance materials. Additionally, the titanium version shipment includes a silicone strap. There is a charging and information USB cable and instruction in a complete set in two versions. Well, now let's get back to the watch itself. The word solar means the watch can receive a charge from the solar energy for battery power. The idea of solar charge is not new. For example, a Casio ProTrack quartz watch is also equipped with a solar charger. But in these models, the solar panel was located across the entire area of the clock under dial hands and numbers. Garmin went further and placed the solar panel above the dial so that it didn't hide the information and didn't interfere with reading data from the screen. As a result, it was a kind of small sandwich from various layers. On the official website, in the glass type section, Garmin simply writes PowerGlass, but it's not entirely complete information. The top cover is a protective glass, Corning Gorilla Glass DX. Where does that information come from? It's very simple. You should visit the official Garmin website and see for yourself. According to Corning, the type of glasses get good readability at the expense of better reflection of the front surface by 75% compared to standard glass, and increased contrast area of glass by 50% at the same level of brightness. And this point will allow you to extend the battery life of your watch. If you compare the Fenix 6 with Sapphire crystal and the Fenix 6X Pro, 6X Pro Solar, you will see the difference yourself. Sapphire glass actually glares in the sun, and Gorilla Glass DX glass is clean and transparent on any angle. What is the Garmin PowerGlass technology? The solar panel consists of two zones. An opaque area is a millimeter orange border located along the entire bezel of the watch. It gives a maximum charge from the sun when exposed to the sunlight. The transparent glass that covers the entire dial is another element of solar battery. The charge from it is minimal. PowerGlass is so transparent that if you place a regular model nearby Fenix 6X Pro and 6X Pro Solar version, you will not notice the difference in color and type of watch. Outwardly, the clock Garmin 6X Pro Solar is distinguished by an orange edging at the start button and the missing timeline for the entire dial. And of course, the inscription of the back of the watch case. By the way, I'm gonna answer one more question. Where did the serial number disappear in the models of the Fenix 6 series? Previously, the number was always on the back of the watch. Don't worry, the serial number was simply transferred to the side of the case, closer to the strap fastening. To get to it, you just need to take off the strap and the fixing pin. if you want to read the serial number of your watch comfortably. The width of the strap of the Fenix 6X Pro and 6X Pro Solar is the same, 26 mm. And this means that the watch straps of Fenix 3, 5X, 5X Plus will fit the mount Fenix 6X with no problem. Therefore, your all straps from these models can be used in Fenix 6X Pro, 6X Pro Solar. As you remember in the name of the Fenix 6X watch, in addition to the word Solar, there is also the word Pro. Pro indicates the maximum equipping of the 6 Fenix series. And this is the following: vector maps with the ability to routing with additional navigation, Bluetooth music player on board with the ability to stream music to Bluetooth connected headphones or speakers, Wi-Fi to synchronize the clock by the air. Letter X indicates the size of the watch. There are the following type size in the row: Fenix 6S 42 by 42 by 13.8 mm, Fenix 6 47 by 47 by 14.7 mm, Fenix 6X 51 by 51 by 14.9 mm is the largest watch case. And anticipating the question right away, is it really convenient to walk and train with such big Fenix watch 6X Pro Solar on hand? I have a narrow wrist, and with similar large models like Fenix 3, 3HR, 5X, 5X Plus, 6X Pro, I'm trained running, crossfit, swimming, walk all day and sleep with the clock on the hand, and don't notice much discomfort for the 6X Pro Solar. I take off the watch only if I work out with weights or boxing. The larger is the case, the larger battery can be installed in the case, and consequently, the battery life of the watch is also increased. Battery capacity. During the assembly of watches, it turned out that the Fenix 6X watch battery has a capacity of 420 mAh. Is it a lot or a little? Given the fact that Fenix uses an economical transflective screen and energy-saving chipsets, the capacity is more than enough. If you focus on the indicators of the charge forecast on the watch face, then at 100% charge, the watch will work like a smart watch. When the optical sensor, Bluetooth and pulse oximeter are turned off with a minimal backlight in brightness and time 47 days. With the optical sensor turned on, but without Bluetooth, pulse oximeter and with minimal screen backlight, 33 days. With the optical sensor turned on and Bluetooth without pulse oximeter and with minimal screen backlight, 23 days. If you turn on the optical sensor, Bluetooth, pulse oximeter at night and with minimal screen backlight, 16 days. If you turn on the optical sensor, Bluetooth, pulse oximeter at night and the average backlight by 30% for 30 seconds, 12 days. Let's see what Garmin tells us on official website about the work duration of the watch from one charge. You can see the comparative graphs of the watch. Of course, the performance of Fenix 6X Pro Solar is impressive. +6, +1, +28 hours and more, +10 and 40 days from solar charge. But let's look attentively on the little stars, comments. 1 star. On condition that you will wear a watch on the street +3 hours a day on the street in 50,000 lux. 2 stars. The use of watches in conditions where the illumination will be 50,000 lux. Now let's take a closer look at what is this magic combination of 50,000 and lux. Lux is a unit of measure for illuminance, and 50,000 is a lot or a little. I will provide a comparative table of illumination in suites depending on conditions. 100, a very cloudy day. 200, living rooms. 320, 500, workroom. 400, sunrise or sunset in a clear day. 1000, cloudy day. 4 or 5,000, noon in December, January. 10 or 25,000, clear sunny days. 32 or 130,000 under the direct sun. As you can see, you can receive high illumination of 50,000 lux only in direct sunlight. Therefore, I'll answer one more question. Can I charge my Garmin Fenix 6X Pro Solar with desk lamps, office lighting, or incandescent lamps? Unfortunately, illumination for such condition will not be enough. I tried all kinds of light sources, but unfortunately I couldn't achieve 50,000 lux illumination charge. The question: how can you measure the light yourself? Of course, it's better to use a professional device such as a luxometer. However, you can take measurement yourself using your mobile device. Install the luxometer application on your phone and you can easily measure illumination of the place where you are. Of course, a mobile phone is not a professional equipment for measuring illumination, but you can approximately estimate the basic indicators of illumination for your local conditions. I added a link to the application for Android and iOS in my article. See the comment below for the video. And how do you know if a Fenix 6X Pro Solar watch is charging? To do this, there is a special indicator in the watch dial in the form of lighting and empty sectors. If the watch is 100% charged, the solar charge indicator is grayed out. If the battery capacity has decreased and the watch requires charging, the indicator will change color to orange. When the illumination increases, the charge indicator will begin to fill the sectors. When the illumination reaches 40 or 50,000 lux, all segments of the solar indicator will be completely filled. Thus, one filled sector gives approximately 10% of reference illumination at which charging begins. Therefore, one filled sector shows an illumination of about 5,000 lux. Please note, the watch dial indicator has a slight delay to save battery power and respond to charge to lighting with a delay. If you want to see the real picture of solar charging, it's better to do with a special widget, Solar Charge Intensity. The widget quickly processes the change in illumination and builds a graph of the received solar energy in 6 hours. Another option is to install a special battery gauge widget. With it, you can analyze the graph of the charge and discharge of the battery. How to use this tool I told in my review, Garmin Watch Battery Discharge, how to find and fix. Links in the description below the video. And one more important point. The solar battery in a Fenix 6X Pro Solar watch is not the main tool for continuous charging of a watch. It's quite the opposite. Its task is to reduce the current discharge of the watch and maintain the battery level. To fully charge the watch, it's better to use a USB cable. Let's do a little test. For the purity of the experiment, we'll turn on the optical heart rate sensors and Bluetooth. We will leave the watch in the bright sun for 4 hours and check the battery level before and after the test changes. At an average illumination of about 30–40,000 lux, the watch couldn't get a lot of charge. However, the battery consumption became equal zero. That is, this illumination was able to compensate for energy for the operation of additional sensors and protocols. Question: and what factors will improve the charging of the Fenix 6X Pro Solar watch? First of all, the watch should be located directly perpendicular to the sun rays so that you catch the maximum light flux from the sun. In sunny weather, it's better to wear a watch on your hand so that the solar panel sees the sun and charge it starts. Don't hide the watch under the sleeve. Another interesting point. In the office, I couldn't charge the watch through the double glazed window with anti-solar coating. Protective solar spraying has cut about 20–25,000 lux. However, orderly glass on the balcony made it possible to get a maximum charge on the watch of 70,000 lux. If the clock should always be in the sun, then another reasonable question arises. At what temperatures can the Fenix 6X Pro Solar watch be charged? The operating temperature range in the watch is from -20 to +45 degrees Celsius. The range for solar charging in direct sunlight is from 0 to 60 degrees Celsius. The watch is protected against overheating. If the internal temperature exceeds the limit, plus 60 degrees, charging will be stopped. Another question: what's the range of current Gorilla Glass DX compared to the Sapphire glasses of the other Fenix models? I have been using Fenix watches for a long time and always bought them with sapphire crystal. The type of glass always avoiding minor scratches and scuffs. For over the 5 years of operation, I couldn't scratch the glass of the watch. On the other hand, current Gorilla Glass DX can boast on excellent transparency and readability of the dial. Unfortunately, my review's budget doesn't allow hard crash test of glass of all watches. I can only say about myself that for 3 months of daily training, running, swimming, and operating the watch, I didn't notice any scratches and abrasions of the 6X Pro Solar glass. After constant use of the 6X Pro Solar, where Garmin Gorilla Glass DX is used, it led me to one conclusion: reading information through sapphire crystal is harder. Additional reflection of the glass made a little discomfort. And I am preempting your next question: how solid is a solar titanium watch case? Titanium reduces the weight of the watch case, of course, but this does not mean that it is 100% scratch resistant. Owners of watches with a titanium case can themselves confirm that such watches, for example Chronos or Mark-II, receive scratches for this material. This is why Garmin uses new materials in its premium Mark-II models. For example, a ceramic bezel with titanium watch case Mark-II Captain. What bonuses did Garmin add to the Fenix 6X Pro Solar? What is the main difference compared to the other models of the 6 series? If you assemble all models of the Fenix 6 series, I'd like to point out the following difference between the models regarding the Fenix 6X Pro Solar watch in addition to solar charging and battery. Resolution. For Fenix 6X, the largest screen resolution in the 6 series is 280 by 280 pixels. By the way, the Fenix 6X Pro watch got the same resolution without the solar option. But if you place all models side by side, you will not notice a striking difference in screen resolution. Fenix 6 has a resolution of 260 by 260 pixels. Fenix 6S has a resolution of 240 by 240 pixels. Screen size. The Fenix 6X Pro Solar model on a 1.4-inch 35.56mm screens allow placing much more information, and that's the effect. On the screen, you can add 8 date fields for sport activity. This is another big plus for those with impaired eyesight. Weight of the watch. The larger the model, the more it weighs. All models are being delivered with a silicone strap, so I'll talk about the total weight, strap plus watch. For the Fenix 6X Pro Solar with a titanium case, it's 82 grams. For Fenix 6, the weight of watch with titanium case is 72 grams, and the latest model in the lineup is the Fenix 6S with a weight of 61 grams. Watch performance when working with Connect IQ application catalog. As always, I run benchmark tests using the 3 benchmark application. The test uses fractal recursive calculation with write operation and graphic rendering. I would like to note that the test measures the speed of work on the Connect IQ platform, virtual machine, and it does not have the correspond the overall performance of the watch. This information is useful for application, widgets, data fields that spin in the watch. And what is common in the models of the Fenix 6 series? Note that I'm talking about the Pro version. These are maps, music, Wi-Fi for data synchronization. Everything else is already in the Fenix 6 models. Built-in sensor and protocol supports, optical heart rate sensor, pulse oximeter, compass, barometric altimeter, accelerometer, gyroscope, thermometer, 3 types of satellite navigation support, GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, a set of sport activities. Water-resistant class, 10 atmospheres for old watches, 32 GB of memory for downloading maps. I'm talking about this option in more details in my review of the Fenix 6S S series. The link is description below the video. As for recording the track in the watch, Fenix 6X Pro Solar tried to compare with the work in 3 GPS modes in the city compared to the Forerunner 1945, so far the best model for the track recording quality at the moment. In this case, the only option the Solar was the GPS-only mode, using 2 recording modes at the same time, GPS plus Galileo, GPS plus GLONASS, improved the situation with the recording tech in the city. Outside the city, in open areas, tech recording accuracy is better. There were no surprises. What did I like about the Garmin Fenix 6X Pro Solar? The ability to use direct solar energy for the discharge compensation of the watch and the battery charge in sunny conditions. More capacious battery in relation to the models of the Fenix 6S 6 series. Large screen with 35.56 mm diameter with a resolution of 280 by 280 pixels. Suitable for people who want to see large letters and numbers on the dial. Updated interface with new metrics. I talked about it in the previous Fenix 6 models review. Ability to fine-tune power consumption by disabling unnecessary sensor or modes. By the way, this option works for all types of watches of Series 6. The width of the Garmin Quick Fit 26 mm straps has been preserved. Therefore, if you change the model Fenix 3, Fenix 3HR, Fenix 5X, Fenix 5X Plus to the 6th model, that all straps will be compatible to the new model. The use of titanium parts of the cases allow reducing the weight of the watch compared to the Fenix 6X Pro models, 82 grams versus 92 grams. Cons of Garmin Fenix 6X Pro Solar. High price. Not every athlete and tourist can afford a smart gadget for 1,000 or more. Charging the watch from the sun only works in direct bright sunlight. Charging the watch indoors or from the light bulb will not work. Quite overall watch case. This is a more men's watch by design and style. The size of watch doesn't bother me personally. Although I have a thin wrist, the watch doesn't interfere with me during training and in everyday use. Conclusions. Garmin Fenix 6X Pro Solar is suitable for those who prioritize high watch autonomy and go on long trips. Given the fact that charging from the sun works in bright sunshine, don't expect the watch to charge by itself if you sit on the office all day. The physics of process cannot be fooled. You can reduce the discharge of the watch and increase the duration of work only on the street, on hikes, in the mountains, or simply in a sunny lawn. The solar option will work only if you are outdoors for a long time and if there are a large number of clear sunny days in your latitudes. My viewers and readers asked me, what watch models will I take for myself? Initially, I leaned toward the Fenix 6 Pro Sapphire. However, after a long continuous operation and close acquaintances with the Fenix 6X Pro Solar watch, I'd rather choose this model. All that I wanted to get from the watch I received: long autonomy, screen size, additional options. Dear viewers, thank in advance for your likes. They will inspire me to create the further reviews. This is my first video that I translated into English, and I have more than 100 of them. Please let me know if you are interested for new videos in English. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.